All right, pin Mr. Fraser Matthews.
How is everyone?
How you doing, buddy? How you going?
Good, really good. How about yourselves?
We're well.
Doing
We're
well.
well.
How are you?
Good. Not sure if this thing's a giant distraction here.
I don't know, man. I think it brings out the complexion of your skin.
Got the window beside me. I don't have the tan from a nice vacation.
No, Div is actually in Mexico. I just got back, and I couldn't be in better situations to sit down and talk to you about Netcoins last year and fast forward this year with some updates. But
Right.
before we get Div asking you those questions, I wanted to just ask, how are you?
Yeah, doing great. Thanks for asking. Really energized right now with everything we've got going on here at Netcoins and within the broader group, which is great. And really excited to be here with the fam today and chatting about the 2023 roadmap and as well what we kind of accomplished during the tail end of last year. It's been a while since we've caught up, and this group brings great energy around everything that we do. We're definitely paying attention to the feedback, to the comments. We hear you loud and clear, and really excited to kind of dive into what we've been up to.
Absolutely. That's amazing. So without further ado, let's get into it. And Div will take it away.
Yeah, sounds great.
Hey guys, are you able to hear me all right?
We got you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for making the time, Fraser. We're super excited to chat with you. Wanted to start by just talking a little bit about the year in review and about BTC. I mean, what are your thoughts on how it's performed? I know we had a little sort of end of year rally and there was a lot of market fluctuation with, FTX and whatnot, but just,
Mhm.
keen to know your thoughts.
Yeah, last year was difficult across the crypto asset space, with so much undoing of great work that had been done in the industry. It was definitely something that caused difficulties, with FTX, with Three Arrows Capital, with a lot of distrust occurring as well. Through these, we had a number of NFT projects that went sour. We had some rug pulls, and things that were, net negative for the crypto asset industry. Well, a number of us were continuing to build, strong platforms for the future of crypto assets and Web3. You could argue that the industry was due to have some bad actors pop up and also to be discovered as well. And there is some positive to take that they have been, figured out and found out. And, that caused difficult price depression on a number of crypto assets, including BTC. So I think that overall pushed it down. It's, the headline crypto asset within the class. So a lot of that downward pressure would be felt by that crypto asset. But glad to see that things have started to stabilize at the start of this year. We've definitely seen an uptick through January here as well in the BTC price and Ethereum, a number of other crypto assets, which is good. Very interesting to see, it tied into a lot of other economic factors, whether it's consumer price index, inflation rates, housing markets, et cetera. It's very interesting to see how those assets are also impacted both positively and negatively by that market news as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes a lot of sense. I mean, one of the things that really excites us about, Netcoins particularly is, the safety aspects and the regulation, that comes with it. And that lends, being a Netcoins user myself, that lends, sort of feels like you're safe and secure, right? And so, I mean, I think that's, as you talk about trust in the marketplace, I think that's, a really important point. Um, one of the things that, Mark has alluded to, and I think we've seen happen is a lot of consolidation, in the crypto space, right? And what are your thoughts on, what's transpired in 2022 and what do you see kind of carrying us forward to 2023, as it relates to, further consolidations, mergers, acquisitions, etc.
Yeah. It's certainly happening and starting to pick up some pace within it. In many different types of brand new markets, many different players will rush in, right? They want to plant their flag and establish a business in that space. And that's, not just in the crypto asset space. We've seen that in all sorts of new innovative fields, whether it's in technology or non-technology as well. So a lot of companies hop in. Oftentimes we see a lot of similar types of propositions, and then naturally mergers and acquisitions do happen. We've seen it prolifically in banking, as an example, in kind of a parallel type industry for us as well. So it's good as we start to build larger platforms, so we can get some consolidation, we can get some rationalization, and we can kind of up the competitive narratives as well. Not every platform is going to be, built forever. And those who evolve and are strong individually will be successful, and we will see consolidation in both successful platforms and, potentially some that are joining a bigger picture as well. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how it shakes out in 2023. I think in 2022, we thought more would happen, but it didn't. In fact, a couple of deals in Canada fell apart, FTX being one of them as an example. And then we are, seeing some news with CoinSmart and CoinSquare that we'll definitely keep an eye on as well.
Well, 2022 was definitely a roller coaster. Potentially that'll carry into 2023. Curious to know, what are your thoughts on crypto in general for 2023 and, the current market conditions? Obviously, we've seen, a good bump in Bitcoin recently. You think that's going to carry through? Just, curious to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think, on the coin prices and the crypto assets, we're seeing good projects, good crypto assets, good communities starting to thrive and be successful. As we spoke a little bit about as well within the company space, there's so many coin projects. There's so many coins every day. When you go to CoinMarketCap or you check out CoinGecko or wherever you get your prices, there's thousands and there's new listings all the time, right? And they're not always built to last, but the good ones are starting to get more sizable populations to support them, to understand them. It's been great to see some of the big partnerships taking place in this space. So Google's found partnerships in crypto assets. AWS recently partnered with Avalanche. And these are showing the long-term visions of these projects starting to help to be delivered now. And as well, we're seeing some of the global leaders in technology starting to get into this space. So that's really exciting. I think that's going to show a lot of confidence to the overall industry. And I think coin prices and crypto asset prices can rise within spaces where they will be successful. I think a lot of the speculation will start to die down during this year because of the risks that we saw in 2022. Things can fail, they will fail, and people are going to start to back the most successful ones right now, I think.
Absolutely. I think that makes a ton of sense. I mean, just hearing you speak about the industry, it feels like you've been kind of immersed in it, for ages. I know it's been a short time since you've been, with Big and specifically leading Netcoins. How do you feel like your, the first full year has gone? I know there's been a lot of achievements, and I know, Ilan is going to get into, the expansion and all that other stuff. But, how do you feel, the first year in the industry and with, Big has gone?
Yeah, it's certainly been interesting. I was thinking before I joined the call, I had a lot of nerves coming into the first Big Fam Discord call. Just thinking about, first impressions and where we're going. And I had so much kind of in my mind as far as where we wanted to go with Netcoins. And then, thinking today, it's only been 6 months, and it's hard to believe how much we've been through in the past 6 months, both with Big, with Netcoins, and in the industry. I mean, it's all happened.
Been wild.
Fast. If you want to talk about aging in dog years, it's certainly been the case here. But it's been really exciting. I think I'm surrounded by an incredible team at Netcoins that spent a lot of their personal time and work time to ramp me up, to set myself up for success and to push the organization forward. So really fortunate with the team at Netcoins that's really rallied around me. I've had incredible support from Big, from Lance, from Kim, and from Mark Binns in particular, to help me with my personal growth within the organization and in the space. And as well, I've had great interactions with users and non-users of Netcoins. So I've had a lot of phone calls lately and emails and communications with people to understand what they like and what they don't like, and why they use us and why they don't use us, to get better understanding of what we can do to make Netcoins the best possible platform we can. So that's all been great. You know, the industry side of things has certainly been interesting, but we've taken a lot of time to really approach this to be pragmatic, to make sure that we're making the right decisions. We spoke the last time about doing the right things the right way, and we've been really practicing that within our team. And further to that, you know, continuing to know who we are, not trying to be something that we're not, and being transparent about that as well.
Awesome. I mean, lots of things to be excited about. I'm going to hand over to Elon now. I know we have some very specific questions about Netcoins that, you know, we'd love to chat with you about.
Definitely.
Thank you, Div, for the questions. So the one thing I will say to you, Mr. Matthews, last year I really appreciated the fact of what you did with the branding of Netcoins. I'm not saying the expansion side, but getting the US side to match the Canadian side. And actually, I just realized that if you go on the website, you kind of change some things under the Netcoins section as well. And just the stuff that you decided to put in there was so informative and so transparent. Everything from our FIRA number to like literally everything, really. And that's something that I think not a lot of exchanges do, right? They're not as transparent. They don't give out the regulation numbers. They don't give out their FIRA numbers. So before we started, I wanted to just say thank you for that. And I will say that a lot of the investors in Big, and more importantly, the users of Netcoins, they see that. And I'm sure it's one of those things that you heard from us, not by us, I mean by shareholders and people. And it's amazing to see a company where the head of the company actually listens to what you have to say, and will not always say, yeah, sure, but they'll explain to you why not. And not a lot of people take that time. So thank you for that. So forward thinking, 2023. So can you go through a little bit of a roadmap that you have for 2003 for navigating Netcoins through the year?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of the big things that we did last year was take a step back and start to listen. We knew that we had a good value proposition. We're safe, we're secure, we're regulated, we're compliant. And, you know, so are 9 other crypto asset platforms in Canada. And we needed to really discover who Netcoins was and who we wanted to be. So that really started with us, you know, diving into the new brand and getting Netcoins to elevate itself and to change. We built our strategy on 3 pillars. So it's our experience, so how we look and feel, how we interact with people, you know, what it's like to log into Netcoins, but also what it's like to tweet with Netcoins or talk to Netcoins. So we focused on that. There's product and features. So what's going to be within the applications, what we're going to add to the platform, and then expansion. And, you know, a lot of that comes into the US approach that we're taking for this year, and expanding our footprint, you know, and where we are. So through last year, we launched our USA microsite. We launched our USA. We're midway through the full build, and we've got a little bit more to go there. That'll go live into February. We launched on MasterCard with Netcoins Pay, which was exciting for us. We moved that card from the plain black card to our Netcoins branded card as well. So it all starts to resonate and match. As well, the mobile app launch. So not just the expansion to the US, but the entire look and feel of Netcoins changing to match that as well. So at the end of December, everybody got to see the new look and feel of Netcoins in Canada. There's still a bit more improvement, enhancement that we're working on right now. Next couple of weeks are going to bring it up to full parity. But the mobile app in Canada will now look like the new version of Netcoins, feel like it. All the screens will be updated, and also everything that you could do on web will be on mobile as well. So users will be able to access all the features, all the settings on mobile. So that's really exciting. And those come first for good reason, because we set the groundwork for success in 2023 by doing all this heavy lifting at the tail end of last year. So we were listening into the market. What do people want to see? What do they want to achieve within Netcoins? And we started to build that into the roadmap. The roadmap for this year is really exciting. We kind of split it out into our experience, our product, our features, technology, some regulatory and compliance ones as well. At the tail end of last year, I should add as well, we went through a regulatory audit with the BCSC. We are just wrapping that up. It's the first one in Canada, and it might be one of the first ones in the world. They're not quite fully out there as far as communications go with exchanges, but it might be one of the first. So we've been through that journey with the BCSC. We'll be wrapping it up during this month. It's great to work with them as partners and to discuss what we're building as well and get their feedback. In the first quarter of this year, we'll have some exciting changes for USA. So we'll be launching our instant ACH funding with Plaid on February 1st. Plaid is a great fintech partner that's known globally for banking APIs. It's a big fintech player. This is going to allow users to directly connect their bank account and push funds into Netcoins. They'll instantly land there. We've also partnered up with a company called Sardine, which is a fraud risk scoring organization. Their CEO was with Coinbase, with PayPal, and found this great gap in the market around how do you detect fraud within the instant ACH? We plug these two things together. Our fraud scores will go down, and we'll get great user funding, quick and fast and easy, and it'll be secure for both parties. So we're really excited about having that for the US. As well, we will be launching 4 more states on February 1st. So we'll be launching in Utah, Kentucky, Colorado, and Kansas. So we're really excited about that on February 1st. Those 4 states are about 16 million more people in population. That will give our total US population that we have within our 9 states at 93 million people. So it's really exciting for us as well. So the growth continues. With the additional states and the instant ACH, which is a really key feature for us, we'll kind of start to roll out the marketing program as well. So we've been intentionally kind of quiet on marketing for now, because we know that we've got a few more building blocks to put in place. So the instant ACH, it's a must-have. It's taken us some time to get this fraud scoring built into it, but it's a really great feature. So we wanted to take our time and do it pragmatically, as we've talked about before. As well, on February 1st, we'll have 3 more coins launched. So we'll have Atom, Near, and Quant. So really excited about that as well. So 3 more coins on the platform. They've got great market caps. 2 of them are 1.6. One of them is 3.6 million. Good volume coins, and coins that people have been asking for as well. So those will be coming on. So we will have 39 coins in Canada, 38 coins in the USA, which is great. We're excited about that as well. So a lot of things coming onto the platform. As we prepare for tax season, we're doing an integration with Coinly. There will be a single sign-on. So Netcoins users will be able to push data to Coinly or pull data in from Coinly as well. So if you have Netcoins and other platforms, or you've got things on wallets or ledgers, you can help to file your taxes in a really simple and easy way as well. So in partnership with Coinly, we'll be doing some marketing campaign activations. And as well, we'll be seeing this on web and mobile within Netcoins. We'll be ready for tax season as well. So we think that's going to be really exciting. In addition to that, we'll continue to uplift the look and feel. So we're looking at our dashboard. We're looking at our trade UX, our trade UI, the data points that are within there as well. So we can get more relevant information to users to help make better decisions and get those into our dashboard. We've got a few more kind of reviews and things that are being built right now, but push notifications is something that we're going to go live with towards the end of the quarter. That way we can have great price alerts going out. If limited orders have been executed, any news that wants to be pushed on mobile, we'll be able to do so as well. So we're excited about that. And lastly,
you were ending with, there you go. I think you were ending off with the fact that there's 4 new states coming in to the States. You mentioned Utah, Kentucky, Colorado, and Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's where we dropped off, I can pick it up.
That's where we dropped off.
Okay. So
I'm sorry.
No problem at all. Look, we've had much more complicated things to deal with.
Oh, I hope so.
Curse, curse of curse of the presenter, you know.
Yeah.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Yeah, I'll get back to it then. So, luckily I remember all this stuff.
Yeah.
Colorado, Kansas, Utah, Kentucky will be going live on February 1st. So, four more states for the US footprint. Combined population of those states is about 16 million, 16.5. So great growth for us. Another four states. Our total footprint within the US from a population perspective of the nine will be about 93 million people. So it's really big for us, right? We're almost triple Canada at this point in time. So that's really important for us and is going to really help to fuel that expansion piece from the strategic perspective. We are continuing to apply and register in a number of different states. I did see online, someone had noticed we'd removed Texas from our list, but we didn't remove it from our list because of anything to do with timing or approach for Q1. Rather, we are submitting our money transmitter license application, or the MTL, in the USA. This is applicable to a number of different states. Texas is one of them. We are going to be applying through a bit of a single door approach for multi-state, and Texas will be one of them. So I did see a Twitter user had mentioned, okay, we've pulled out of Texas, what's happened. So to address that point, it's part of a broader application process that we'll be going through this quarter. So we're working with our legal team in the US. I'll update everyone as soon as we have more news on how long that will take, what states that's inclusive of, and everything like that. But we continue on that approach. In the US, there's different regimes on a state-by-state basis. We have to apply largely state by state. There's a number of states, which are a bit easier with an application process. And then there's a much larger pool of states, which is a lot harder from an application process. So we'll continue to work through that and keep everyone updated as soon as we know things.
Amazing. And, that's a lot to look forward to it. And this is a perfect year to do it. Now, the fact that we've already expanded to the states that we have, are you able to give us any type of current revenue generated per state or from the states, or maybe just the US side? Just to kind of see how we've been progressing.
Yeah, and I think one of the points that maybe was cut off previously, I think we got into the instant ACH with Plaid, right, and Sardine.
Yes.
Before it cut off, and then we were talking about the additional states. When it comes to the US, I would say we're looking at the story of success so far is around everything. Everything's working operationally. It's a very complex setup in the US due to the number of different integrations you have to do, the new money service providers, different APIs with different things to move money around, our new bank accounts, the new operations and the new regulations, and our new onboarding there as well. So a lot of the launch was meant to be small scale intentionally. So we did that with intent to launch towards the end of the year, onboard smaller numbers, make sure it works, talk to every customer that we can that's coming through, and make sure that functionality works. So we didn't put a lot of onus on marketing effort. And I think that, that's something I've seen on the message boards and communicate as well. When are we going to start marketing this? We've intentionally waited to put our efforts in once instant ACH and funding with Plaid is in place with the Sardine fraud engine. And we knew that these other four states were coming as well. So now that all of this has kind of come to fruition, we'll start the heavy marketing efforts going into February as well. We'll have 9 states, 93 million in population to go after. All our tech and tools are in place. We know the banking's working, customer support set up. We're going to have the phone number rolled out as well. And then we'll start to kind of focus in on the numbers. We are generating revenue. We're seeing, people come in and trade, people onboarding. But we know that without instant ACH right now, it's a 3-day window to get your funds into the account. It's not the best user experience just yet. And we've did level 1 and now we've got level 2 coming out this month as well. So, to answer your question, it's not a huge number of users and not a huge revenue pool right now, but we'll start to measure that for success from February onwards.
Amazing. And I know you mentioned marketing, right? So what exactly do you mean what is your marketing strategy? What kind of channels are you looking to use in the States? I know that obviously in the I'd say the last 2 quarters of last year in Canada, Mark mentioned that the budget for marketing was substantially reduced, and that he was looking to, once U.S. expansion is on the horizon, which we've now come past it, that there'll be quite a bit invested in that. So what exactly is your strategy and what channels are you looking to advertise through?
Yeah, it's a great question. So for us, we've been looking at a lot of organic marketing through our existing channels. As I'm sure a lot of people have seen, we've really ramped up Twitter big time, as far as a communication channel for us. That's been a really important one. Crypto assets, the crypto industry, Bitcoin in particular, have all been trending and picked up their pace on Twitter. So we've been at the forefront of that conversation. Just this last Monday, we released a kind of a new proposition from us, the Netcoins, market information, Monday morning brew, something that's a bit fun, but tells people the story of what's going on. We want to engage with more people in the space and show, that here's the market data, here's the market information, and make sure that we're participating there. With regards to the US, the money transmitter license is actually a requirement for a lot of marketing and advertising as well. So as we go through that process, that will unlock things like Meta and Google, where your MTL is required. So that's why it's something that's an urgent basis for us. We definitely want to ramp things up on Instagram. We know we've got a lot of users that we connect with on there. So that's something for this year that we want to open up more. They have had certain rules around crypto platforms in the past. So we have had a number of conversations with them about how we're approaching things for this year. It's something that's been sensitive with them in the past as well. So we're working with them in partnership. We had some advertisements on the Score just to build awareness during the college football playoff last year and during the national championship game. We'll look to have that turned on around Super Bowl season as well. So these are banner ads that are within the Score app in the USA, and we'll look at Canada. In addition to that, we'll look at some marketing and marketing material with partners. We'll look to get some voices out, and we have connected with a number of big players in the space in the US as well to see how they might support us. I did want to go back on the roadmap as well, because I'm cognizant we got cut off at the States, and there was a lot more to come from that as well.
Yes, that's where I was actually heading now.
Okay. So one of the other ways that we'll be connecting with users is going to be through push notifications. That's something that will come out with mobile over the next couple of months as well. So finding ways to engage with users around market information, Netcoins news, limit orders, price alerts. We'll be able to do that on mobile. So we built out the functionality for that, and that'll be ready to go. We're going to find out, when we're going to deploy that. As well, we're looking at our trades, coin watch listing, favorites, the data that's provided to users, both on the portfolio or dashboard view and on the trade view as well. So we can help give actionable insights to users so they can help to make better decisions, and ultimately give them more information about their holdings as well. So that's going to be there. I also think it was cut off that we'll be launching 3 new coins, Atom, Near, and Quant. So 3 new coins on the platform, both in Canada and the US. That'll bring our Canadian coin count up to 39 and 38 in the US. So that'll be really important. We've got a coin market cap of 3.6 million for one of these coins, 1.6 for the other 2 respectively as well. So very strong coins on trading volume, and people have been asking for them. So that'll be important. I think Coinly integration was prior to when we got cut off. Okay.
Yep.
That's great. And then as well, we're applying through the MTL. We've got other non-MTL states, and we are also submitting our application for staking for Canada. So that's something that we'll look to have in Q2. Staking is a very interesting proposition for users. A lot of people have come up with it. There's a lot of requirements around the operation, the coin types. So we're going to make sure that we can get all of that kind of stood up and ready to go for both Canadian and American users in Q2 as well. We think it's going to be really important as part of our holistic journey as well. So we're looking forward to that too.
Amazing. And I'm glad you brought up staking because a lot of people are wondering, how does Netcoins itself generate revenue from people staking coins?
Yeah, it's a good question. So staking, ultimately falls into creating pools where coins are staked against proof of work and are aligned to different chains. So you ultimately put in your coins to create this consensus, and you generate revenue from that. So different from proof of work, you've got the proof of stake protocol. So Ethereum's been really popular. You ultimately put your coins and inject them into the ecosystem, and you gain a return of that. We'd work with partners that build up pools. Ultimately, users could stake their coins within that pool, and they would gain a return on that. And then Netcoins would take a portion of that return as well from the stakeable assets. So a similar model to what we're seeing in Canada and in the US and globally as well from a staking perspective, but certainly something that users have been asking for. So we ran some surveys during the end of last year, and it was at the top of the list over and above additional coins on the platform. So we've figured out who our partners are going to be. We figured out what changes we need to make to the platform. We're making our submission with the BCSC during this week as well, and having discussions with them on when it will be appropriate to launch this, and then starting to build out our roadmap to get this done during Q2. So we're really looking forward to it. We think it's going to be exciting. There's a lot of different networks and coins that are popular right now as well. So I think it's going to be a good uplift for the Netcoins user base.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, perfect. So you alluded to the branding on Netcoins Pay a while ago. Are there any ideas of transitioning Netcoins Pay to the US? And is there a whole different kind of ballgame to getting that access?
Yeah, it's a good question, one that a number of people have been asking, particularly on Twitter recently. So Netcoins Pay in Canada is in partnership with Coho. So they provide us with the ability to do card issuance, card processing, transaction processing, and they're our partner in this. So we work hand in hand on every transaction that runs through this. Ultimately, in order to do card issuance, you need to have a partner that has a license or a BIN sponsorship. So BIN sponsorship is ultimately the business identification number. So they're able to issue cards. So whether it's a Visa or a MasterCard or another type of card. In Canada, People's Trust is very popular for this. And our partner Coho has been excellent with us and are really helping us to evolve the product. In the US, you would have to find a similar partner and party. You'd have to figure out the technology of it. You'd have to figure out where you're going to get your plastic physical cards from, how you're going to issue them as well. It's a very good product for us to help give our customers additional ways to earn Bitcoin, and the rewards has been great. We think it's sticky from a brand perspective as well, but we're really focusing right now on the evolution of the trade platform on stake. And making that earn capability go live rather than investing our time into the card proposition in the US right now.
Okay. So there are two more features that I kind of want to specifically ask you about. Coin-to-coin swapping. And I've had some questions regarding network fees and if there's any chance of reducing them in the future and how you can go about doing that.
Yeah. Both, definitely, interesting ones. So coin-to-coin swapping is something that is on the long-term roadmap for us. We're investigating it at the moment. There's a lot of complexity with it. Some exchanges actually kind of started with it. So that was their baseline and their footprint. So the evolution the other way around was a bit easier for us. We started with the Bitcoin and fiat, and then grew it coins out from there. So we have work to do. We definitely want to do it. We've got it kind of pegged for Q3 right now. It's on the roadmap for this year, and it's something that we're working on as well. We think it's definitely very interesting, and the team right now, we're looking into the architecture of it.
Amazing. And network fees.
Yeah, network fees is definitely a great one. I had a really good conversation with a user last week on this very topic because I really wanted to understand their perspective on this topic. So a lot changed last year. We had fees in place. Ultimately, a lot of it was downstream cost. Things cost a lot of money with our providers, and we had fees, and they're costly, and we'd set fees at that point in time. And then a lot changed since then. The FTX and distrust in exchanges, came up, and it's very well understood that a lot of people are withdrawing and holding, in cold storage and wallets, and moving things around. So we are reviewing our fee structure right now. We're looking at the cost basis, because there's a lot more than just the network fee, and ultimately being regulated has a number of costs that go alongside of that, right? So for us, we need to factor in all the different overhead that goes along with being an exchange in the way that we're set up. So, regulation has its costs. We're in Canada, we understand this as well, not just in the crypto asset industry, but across other industries. We have, separate wallets for all coins, from customer holdings to our holdings, bank accounts, regulatory costs, all sorts of fees and things that go in. So we understand that network fees are very transparent. We know what it costs to send one crypto asset coin on a network. And we're doing a deep dive review right now to see what changes we can make, because we are listening, to customers. We're listening to feedback. This is, a big feedback point for us. So it's all under review right now. We are looking at what changes we can make and issue as quickly as we can. I'd estimate around Q2 we'll have our kind of new approach set up, but everything is under review at all times, for us. So when we go back to November, when FTX, was starting to go down, and we really sat back and said, what are customers saying? So we started just listening in on the market, listening on Twitter. And the feedback that we saw was that people want easy to understand pricing and fees. They want their platform to be secure. They want their platform to be transparent. They want them to be social, responsive. They want them to be stable. They want them to be regulated. They want trust. We did our proof of reserves to showcase that. We've been, making sure that we go above and beyond on transparency and talking to people and listening. And fees is a very important one. We understand that there's a lot of pressure in the industry and outside of it right now as well. And we want to be the best partner we can, so that Canadians and Americans can come to Netcoins and, get the best value for their transactions as well. So we're working on it.
Amazing. And thank you so much. I apologize if you're going to see me looking down. I was taking a couple notes that I wanted to just go over again. As you were saying, there is a price to pay for being regulated and transparent. And I think a lot of people are so quick to, I just want to make money. And that would explain all the issues we're having right now with all the consolidation, collapses, and whatsoever. And the fees would make sense why people want to cut corners, right? And some have no fees, but let's do some forensic accounting there and see, are they regulated? Are they paying these fees? Are these licenses being paid, and all that good stuff that needs to be done? So I fully understand that, and I fully get what you're saying, and I think that's big. A couple more questions from me, and then maybe 3 or 4 from the group, if that's okay with you. Question number 8, are there any thoughts to bring Netcoins to the Middle East and Dubai, including that, especially with your experience and some of your networking there and knowledge of people on the ground?
Yeah, it's a good question. Not at the moment. We're definitely want to be laser focused on our US goals and aspirations during 2023. Such a big market, a great market to be in, and part of the future for us as well. Close to home, similar languages, same time zones, much easier for us to manage that business as well. The Middle East, and particularly in Dubai, is interesting. There's about 8.5 million people in the UAE. For UAE nationals, it's a much smaller number as well. So it's not a huge population in numbers. It can be potentially from a wealth perspective, but not a target market for us right now. We want to make sure that we get the US right before looking abroad to other markets. And we want to make sure that it's going to be manageable for a team that's either from here or, at that point, we'd have to be thinking about expansion or hubs. It has a really favorable regime from licensing. The Dubai International Financial Center set up a great program there. Salman Jaffrey and the team are doing really well in attracting the top players into the DIFC as well. So it's super interesting. Definitely one that we'll watch. But for us, we definitely want to be focused on North America right now.
Do you miss the warmth?
I miss the warmth at this time of year. I'm looking out the window at wind and snow. But happy to be back here. I think I mentioned on the first call, I'm certainly a proud Canadian and really proud to be working for a Canadian company that, is here for Canadians as well. It means a lot to me.
Amazing. Question number 9. Are you looking into ways for Netcoins to join the Web3 space specifically, whether it's through participation in NFTs or gaming or governance or regulation?
Yeah. At this point in time, we haven't done too much discovery on it. The NFT space is interesting. We've definitely seen, attempts from other platforms and exchanges to get into it. With really mixed success. The wallets seem to be doing better than the exchange platforms are. For what we've seen, MetaMask is one thing, and Coinbase took a shot at it as well, and didn't necessarily have great success there. But not say it wasn't worth an attempt there. Gaming is very interesting. We've got some great coins that are aligned with gaming as well. We'll need to see how that kind of plays out. Right now, we've got a good ecosystem within big digital assets that are set across different areas of Web3. And I think in time, we'll start to find, how we start to come together as well. I think that would be long-term. Certainly Web3's directly is long-term for us. But we are going to do some exploration towards the end of the year on some different networks, I could say.
Amazing. So without further ado, if it's okay with you to just ask you quite a few questions. If there's a question you can't answer or don't want to answer, just say next.
Yeah.
Is options trading at all on the roadmap?
It's not right now. No, it's not something that we have within the playbook for this year.
Okay, perfect. Next question. How does Netcoins plan to compete with the big exchanges like Coinbase and Kraken in the States?
Yeah, great. It's a great question. So it's something that we're always working hard at. We've started by taking the compliant first approach from Canada and transposing that to the US. Different types of regulatory regimes. So, in Canada being regulated, it's great. We can tell that's sort of regulated by the BCSC and all of the other commissions across Canada. In the US, it's a different type of regulation. So that story has to kind of adjust itself. We started by building a great technology stack. We think building from the core out is going to be really important. So that's why we picked Plaid and we picked Sardine and we picked Jumio. And, we've got blockchain intelligence group and we've got this amazing core. All of that's going to really help us to be set up for success because all those things are, really best in class fintechs. From there, the value proposition is going to start to evolve. We've got 2 different hypotheses that we are looking at right now for the US. And, as I said, it's kind of slowly start to percolate what that is. It's drop in, test and learn, make sure that the product works, make sure that the platform works, make sure that the features work. And then listen, what are people in the US saying? What's different than Canada? What are they looking for? A lot right now is an alternative to the big players, right? Binance, FTX, Coinbase, behemoths, right? Big market shares. Are you going to be able to call the call center and pick up and talk to someone? No. Are you going to get to hop on Twitter and message with someone from the team? Probably not, right? We want to be there to be follow those rules that I said earlier, and you'll keep hearing them throughout the year. It'll get boring, but we want to be transparent. We want to be easy to understand. We want to be social. We want to be responsive. We want to show stability. We aren't going in there to become, the biggest platform in the USA. We want to be well-rounded, be one of the best platforms in the USA. The fee structure will come into that, understanding what's going to make us attractive, and ultimately kind of playing in on that. So we're being a bit of a chameleon right now, just kind of sitting, waiting to figure out exactly where our piece is going to be. Over the next 2 months, I think you'll see some big shifts in the US on the approach, and then we're just going to laser focus in on exactly what we want to tell people we are down there.
Amazing. And one last question before we let you go on your very busy day. So I know that we're compliant in Canada. Have approaches or regulations, or I guess stiffness in the States changed in terms of the process to get regulated?
In the US, a lot of it's following up with existing financial rules and regulations that exist. Financial reporting, there's state by state rules. So we're on top of all of the kind of regulatory and reporting requirements there. We've got a great banking partner in the US as well, so we do a lot of reporting through them. And all of this just helps with that approach. So being regulatory compliant in the US is multi-jurisdiction, multi-regulatory body. There's a big matrix of reporting that exists. Whereas in Canada, we've got a couple of different, key areas that we report into. The complexity is there. I think a lot of people have learned from last year. We'll see some things change during this year. But, I think good positive changes. I think exchanges like Netcoins, will probably be propped up a bit, because we're not trying to be something that we're not. We're not trying to overexpose or overextend ourselves. We're being true to the nature of the platform right now, and continuing to build on top of it, and not just, leveraging ourselves to go chase something else that, might not be there. For us, this is the most important thing we can do, is kind of protect the core, particularly during this year, make sure we're really pragmatic with the choices that we make, and continue to build great features that customers actually want, and not kind of chasing things that we shouldn't be.
Amazing. So, Fraser, thank you so much for your time. This is very, very informative. Thank you to everyone in the big Discord, big fam, that continuously every day we're researching, we're learning, and we're getting great updates. Before I let you go, I had a little quick 3-word mission statement that I made just during our talk that I think people should understand and remember about Netcoins. So the mission statement of Netcoins: regulated, trusted, and always listening. So I think if people remember those 3 key terms about Netcoins, again, regulated, trusted, and always listening, I don't really see many exchanges that do any of those 3, let alone 3 of 3. So I do thank you for your time and your transparency. I wish you the very best of luck in the next year. And thank you so much.
Really appreciate it. Thanks again for the support of this group. Looking forward to the next session as well. And we'll keep you updated as we hear more on US expansion, and you'll see some news coming out on some of our next releases too. So a lot to look forward to. Thank you again. And we'll see you in the spring.
Take care.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Looking
Bye,
forward
everyone.
to it. Thank you, Fraser.